Well, welcome back, my friends all, to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Outdoors. A rendition that's going to piss a lot of people off, and well, it's Sunday, praise the Lord. What better day for pissing people off than the Lord's Day? Come on, son. Today, we are doing the KABAR, I guess, fighter knife? I don't know. Whatever. It ain't a fighting knife, Scab. I bet I can stab the shit out of you with. And then you'll be like, well, maybe it is, Scab. It's the Usmc. Now, I bought this on Amazon. Here's what I'm going to do. I paid my money for it. Bought it. I'm going to put the link to the one I bought. Okay? If you want to check it out, that's cool. Let me say this up front because I'm going to forget bigger than shit. I just weighed this thing. It's 10.2 ounces, okay? We are cutting a BF Goodwrench steel belted tire there. Went in pretty good. Now right here, I'm way out of position. You'll notice I'm leaning over the trunk, but I did that for a couple of reasons, right? I wanted to be a little bit out of position. I wanted to give you some different looks, and we're cutting down. You see how low we're cutting. You know that shit's pretty thick. I will say this. This might be one of the sharper... And these knives are based on the old Mark II knives, right? They started off as a hunting knife and then mass-produced, blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows the story. I'm sure every swinging dick and their brother that don't watch the video will put in there how they came to be, and that's fine. Here's the deal. Let me just be real with you. This video is really, truly, honestly... not for anybody but me. That's it. I'm using the KABAR dozer there to open it. I'm kind of weird with things. Like when I'm focusing on a particular brand, I like to keep that brand together. But this really isn't for anybody else. So if your mind's made up on KABAR, especially this style, just go ahead and click off. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I promise you, you're not. And I understand it. I totally understand it. Here's the deal. I'm not here to convince you of one single thing. And I want to make this clear. My thing is this. Is this a great survival knife? Well, no. Is it a great fighting knife? No. It's just not, right? I have a 1,000 other options. Well, literally, I have probably 400 other options. But the thing is this, and this is what kind of gnaws at me, and this is what's really spurred this video. The thing is this, guys. If this was the only knife I had and I was in the woods, could I make it work? Now, according to YouTube logic, and God knows the only thing that trumps YouTube logic is Facebook logic. If you just go in the woods, you're automatically going to die if you have to use this knife. You're dead. You run off the side of the road. You've got your knife in your underwear. You're a dead man walking. And I just have to believe that not to be true, right? At the end of the day, to me, it all boils down to skill set. But hey, what do I know? I only use a knife every day and got over 7,000 videos using it. So here's the thing. This video is for me. And I do want to stress this. And I do want you to understand. I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. I just want to know if I was in a bad spot and I had this knife, would it do what I needed it to do? Well, first and foremost, the only thing I'm really going to do with this knife is I'm going to cut. I might do some light batoning. Now let's watch this. I'm just going to be silent as you bask in the sweetness of Old Scabber there at 258 pounds. Damn thing sharp. It really is. It came sharp. But here's the deal, guys. I feel like everybody that we needed to run off's gone now. The idea was never to try to convince anybody of anything. I just wanted to give this knife a fair shot. I mean, for God's sakes, we give gas station knives fair shots on this channel. Now, I didn't do anything different. I threw it a lot more. I don't know if I've thrown it, I might have been running my mouth. When I threw it at the stump in the trunk and it bounced out, it hit the concrete right on the tip. The only damage it did was chip the paint. That's it, okay? through all of this, through all of the stuff that I did, I didn't get any bending. The handle stayed on. Now, let me say this too. Again, I would prefer a full tang. I would love for KABAR to make a full tang, but that's not what this is about. What this is about is if I had this knife, and that is a piece of oak there that, what's the point, EDC had made me a baton. He made both of the ones you see, but the other one split. So I wanted to use it, and it's a piece of oak. It's hard as a brick bat, but I just wanted to do some things. See, here's the deal. You know what you need a knife for. I don't know what you need a knife for. Maybe you do need to pry stuff with it. Okay, cool. Probably not the knife for you, right? But my thing is this, for what I use a knife for, and I'm just going to be honest with you, most of the time, especially camping, it's starting a fire, whittling, meal prep, things like that. This is going to do what I need it to do if this is all I have. Now, obviously, again, now, even if I wanted to choose a different KABAR, and I probably would, I'd go with like the Becker 9, the BK9. I love that knife, or the Becker BK2. Both solid choices, tanks of knives. But I'm just saying, if this is one, and typically, guys, I keep a KABAR in my dry bag, in my little go bag. Can I be honest with you? I just like the way the damn thing looks and feels in hand. I like the leather wrapped handle. I like everything about it. I like the clip point. I like the fullers. I like the history of it, actually, I like the history behind the original one. It's just, to me, there's a lot of nostalgia here. To me, anybody with half a brain and a little bit of skill set, and a lot of you guys have a phenomenal skill set, and that's the thing. Many of you could take one of these and survive for weeks. You could. You absolutely could. And I know you're going to choose something else, but the truth is, what I wanted to do with this knife is just go through and look at it. Look at the overall toughness. Look at the sharpness. How does it hold together? How did it feel in hand? I'll tell you the truth. I know cedar's not a hardwood, but I'll be damned if it didn't chop pretty good. I was very impressed, and you'll see I'm holding it off the back there, kind of loosely holding it, just flipping it down, not really even getting down with it. Thank God it's on camera. I was worried to death it wasn't. That's why I moved it up. But if you'll notice, I'm right at the back. I've got a loose grip on it. We're popping it. Went right through that cedar. And again, I realize cedar's not, locust wood or anything like that. But we have to go with what we know. And let me just say this to all of you. Everybody's in different corners of the world, different corners of the United States, different corners of the globe, whatever, however you want to put it. What suits me and my needs in Northeast Florida's woods and swamps probably won't suit your needs. That's why I highly encourage everybody, do your own research. If you get a knife, every now and then, get you a knife, go out there and beat the shit out of it. Seriously, see what it can take, see what it can do. Challenge yourself. Pick a knife that everybody shits on. Find you a good knife that everybody shits on, go out there and do it. And I got aggravated because it never fails. When I'm batoning, I drop it I'm the world's worst batoner. That's why I don't really do it in real life. I'd be dead from frostbite if I had to make a fire by batoning. But the truth is, with this knife, and now, I use this knife during these demonstrations, what I would normally use it, other than I really, truly, honestly don't baton. Now, I will chop when I go camp. And if I'm going to baton anything camping, it's typically smaller pieces of fat lighter. I'll baton them down, or kindling or something like that. And a lot of times, really, truly, honestly, it's to kill time, or it's to experiment with a knife. I'm big on challenging myself. What I'll probably do with this knife is strop it up because it's not bent. It's still straight. It's still sharp as shit. And I double check the pommel. It's got that little pin in it. The pin's good. There's no looseness. Now, it did bounce across the concrete, so there is some chipped paint. I'll sand that so it's not irritating to my hand. But overall, it did, guys, listen. This knife did exactly what I knew it was going to do. How did I know that? Because I've done enough of the damn KABARs. I've done enough of the ones from Spartan and Hinder. And the only KABAR I haven't done at this point is Medford's fighting knife. And at some point, we'll do that one. But the truth is, I've done 2 or 3 reviews with this style, not this knife. I just got this one in, but this style. They've held up fine. Why? Because when you use it as a knife, it is what it is, and I'm not here to argue with you. Now, I want y'all to notice that's wet ratchet strap. Nasty ass. It's been laying up there for weeks. It's a wonder it ain't dry rotted and falling apart, but it's actually pretty damn tough. The damn KABAR, I open up with the tire stabbing. Now, the first thing I did was open the box, cut the paper, cut the cardboard, and then I went straight out and did the tire. I like doing that with a tire, especially one if I can find one. You can't always find a good steel belted tire, but I like doing that to kind of set the tone, kind of set the pace, kind of set the mold, because those little wires will eat an edge alive. Now, I'm sitting here looking at this one, and to be honest with you, the grinds aren't perfect, the bevel's not perfect, but it's got a great toothy edge on it. I mean, it's got a really, 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 really good toothy edge. Now, here we threw it about 10 times as hard as we can into that old pallet, and that's a mud flap off a semi-tire that I've got glued on there. Knife holds up, well balanced. Let me throw some quick specs out to you. Now, some people just hate rounded and oval handles. For my hands, for my busted up hands, they don't bother me, but I understand it. You got to like a handle. If you don't, you ain't going to. Let me open up with the inner grip. The inner grip's 4.5. That means any damn hand on the planet can grab this knife. Now, it is kind of ovaled, right? But the inner grip is 4.5. The blade length, I believe, is 7 inches. Yeah. Cutting edge is about 6.5. Blade thickness on this one, it's right between 1/8 and 3/16. So I'm sure it's in the millimeter spectrum. I just don't know what. We can look it up. It ain't that big a deal. Like I said, it weighs 10.2 ounces. The blade width is 1 inch, right at 1 inch and 3/16, something like that. It's a clip point. Now right here, that's that reinforced sandblast hose. So for anything to cut that after cutting all this shit is pretty impressive. Overall, like I said, now, anytime you have a mass-produced knife, and this is what has to be factored in, anytime, I don't give a shit if it's cold steel, KABAR, I don't care who it is. When you mass produce a knife, there's going to be good ones, there's going to be bad. It's just the way it is. You can argue till the cows come home. There ain't no arguing. I got a good one. I paid for it. I think it was $101 to my door. My money, my worry, my concern. Ain't nobody needs to worry about that. Does this change my opinion? No, I knew it wouldn't. Again, I'm not here trying to tell you it's the best knife in the world. I'm not here trying to tell you it's a great survival knife or combat knife. I wouldn't know. I've been stabbed. I didn't have to sign up to any kind of unit to get that. I've been shot too. The truth is, I'm not going to be in combat at 52, 53 years old. I'm just not. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not knife fighting anybody. I'll just shoot shit out of them. If you want the truth, I mean, I'm too old for that bullshit. But if I get in a spot where I need a knife, and I do keep this in my dry bag, I'm fine. That's it. What'd I prove? Well, nothing to y'all. Y'all had your minds made up. That's why I titled this the most useless knife review I've ever done. But for me, it just reaffirmed what I thought. If you got a lick of sense and some skill set, you'll be fine. Guys, there was a time in this country where 22 vets a day took their own lives, and the stats are everywhere. That's why we bring it up on this channel. And that's why anything over 0 on this channel is simply unacceptable. Vets, we love you. Man, you got a place here. That's all it means. You're welcome here. I back to blue. I ain't arguing with nobody over it. I'm not in the mood today. It's a choice I make. I'm not here to convince you. Finally, if you are an addict, and I am, never quit quitting. Well, old Lola's about had the lick, and so have I. I love y'all. God knows I do. Tomorrow's 4 years on YouTube. I can't believe it. I'm Scab. You're not. I'm gone, son.